Can we check with Mark and see if we're ready?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. No, we're good. Okay. All right, welcome. We'll call this meeting to order. If you could rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Sylvia, roll call.
Council President Young.
Here.
Councilor Browse.
Here.
Councilor Scott.
Here.
Councilor Giles.
Here.
Councilor Stankey.
Here.
Thank you. Mayor Rosner and Mayor Rosner and Councilor Mays are absent.
Can I get approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have one item on the consent agenda, approval October 1st, 2024 City Council meeting minutes.
I move consent.
Second.
All in favor of approving consent agenda, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Citizen comments. Sylvia, do we have anything tonight?
I do not, Councilor.
Anybody in the audience wanted to do citizen comment? All right.
About anything.
About anything that's not on the agenda.
Yeah.
All right. We have a public hearing tonight. Next on the agenda, public hearing on ordinance 2024-004, amending sections of the Sherwood zoning and community development code and food cart pods. Sylvia, will you read the public hearing statement?
The Sherwood City Council will hold a public hearing this evening to receive testimony on ordinance 2024-004, amending sections of the Sherwood zoning and community development code for food cart pods. The public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. Staff will present a staff report. Questions, if any, by the City Council for staff. We will then receive written testimony. We will then open the public hearing for testimony, and the time will be limited to 4 minutes per person. Any interested person may present testimony. We will then close the public hearing. No other comments will be heard from the public. Final comments by staff, questions of staff, if any, by the council, followed by council discussion. This is the second hearing before the City Council on this item. A decision may be made by the council at the close of this hearing, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain. If the matter is continued to a date certain, this is the only notice of that date you will receive. If you wish to speak, please fill out a request to speak form and submit it to the city recorder prior to the time the public hearing is open for testimony. The mayor or council president will recognize people who wish to speak, and any comments must be addressed through the council president. When you come forward, please state your name and place of residence for the record, as this hearing will be recorded.
Thank you. And for our staff report, we have Joy Chang.
Good evening, Council President Young and Councilors. Joy Chang, Senior Planner with the Planning Department. As noted, this is the second hearing for the food cart pods, ordinance 2024-004. As a reminder, the proposed amendments in front of you would allow the development of food carts subject to the following. We would allow them in the general commercial zone and in addition to the retail commercial zone. We would process these applications as a Type 4 site plan review with a concurrent Type 3 conditional use permit. We have very specific development and design standards that are also going to be applicable. This slide basically identifies applicable criteria for plan amendments, and I do want to note that as previously noted and also within the staff report, written staff report, the proposed food cart pod amendments do meet all these applicable criteria. Staff is recommending, based on the findings and applicable code criteria, staff is recommending that City Council hold this second public hearing and approve the proposed text amendments in front of you tonight. That concludes my oral staff report and can answer any questions you may have.
Council, any questions for staff?
I'd like to make a clarification. I've heard some rumors
This does not mean that the city is building food cart pods. It means that the code allows individuals to purchase land and build a food cart pod on it if they wish in
That
the
is
city.
correct.
Okay,
Unless the city decides to go into a venture of
Right.
building a food cart pod.
but
But
this
that's
is,
not in the plans at
that's
the moment.
totally separate, right?
Right.
There's,
It just-
there's,
It basically allows it in the code. At this time, the code is silent. This allows that type of development within the city of Sherwood, within those particular zones.
yeah, so you entrepreneurs out there, this is opening up the gate that you can now propose a food cart pod in Sherwood.
That is
Okay,
correct.
great.
Any other questions for staff? Thank you, Joy.
All right.
We will now open the public hearing. Sylvia, do you have any request to speak forms? If there's anybody in the audience that planned or wanted to speak on this? Lots of support out in the audience. I see a teacher, I see some students. Awesome. With no testimony received, we'll close the public hearing. With, I guess we'll ask staff if they have any final comments. No? Okay. And then council, do you have any final questions of staff?
No questions, but very much in favor of this concept. Was in Sisters, Oregon 2 weeks ago, and they even have a really cool food court or pod
How many?
area.
How many
I don't
food
rem-
carts?
I didn't count them.
Ah,
But anyway, I think it's time for us to do this. Wish I had the money to do it myself.
As I said before, obviously this was, I think, one of the very first things I championed when I joined council 6 years ago. So it's been a long journey. Happy to finally be here voting for this tonight. Definitely voting for this tonight. I think Sherwood's unfortunately a little bit behind with a lot of our neighbors and other areas in the state who have built have seen fabulous structures and places of business that I've been to a dozen of them all over, and they attract people in. They're great hubs. There's all kinds of. They're just fun. They're great. You can take your whole family there. You know, everyone wants something different for dinner. You go to one place. You all get 6 different things. We're way behind. I'm so happy to vote this in. I hope somebody builds one next week. I hope there's a permit. They won't build it next week, but I hope there's an application into the planning department next week. So I'm very excited to vote for this, and thanks all for helping me get this over the goal line, I hope.
anything else? Anybody else?
I'll just say, well said. I got to say that's probably, it's certainly in the top 3 things that I'm asked about by members of the public. So I'm glad that we can put this to bed.
Yeah, this has also been a long process, and I do remember Councilor Scott bringing this up, like, I think, within 2 minutes of being sworn in or something. He's been talking about it. My one concern through the process was whether our existing brick and mortar businesses and restaurants would be in favor or would think it was a competition for them. And I was really pleasantly surprised to hear the support that we had from local businesses saying, no, this will be a great thing. This will bring more people to Sherwood who have more options, food cart, and then they'll see, XYZ restaurant here and there, and they'll come back and visit Sherwood. So that sort of pushed it over the edge for me as to this being a good thing for Sherwood. So with that, I would entertain a motion.
Read, caption, adopt.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Just to clarify, this ordinance would be in effect 30 days from today. So,
31 days. I hope there's an
all right,
application.
thank you.
Jeez.
So I move that we read, caption, and adopt ordinance 2024-004, amending sections of the Sherwood Zoning and Community Development Code for food cart pods.
roll call, Sylvia.
Second?
Well, I think Doug wants
sorry.
to second it.
Sorry about that.
I will second. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll do roll call.
Perfect. Ordinance 2024-004, amending sections of the Sherwood Zoning and Community Development Code for food cart pods. Counselor Stankey, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Giles?
Yes.
Counselor Scott?
Enthusiastically, yes.
Counselor Browse?
Aye.
Council President Young?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Food carts. Go out there and dream something up for us. Next on the agenda, City Manager Report. Craig, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just a couple items. I just want to let you know Scott McKee, our building official's last day with the city will be this Friday. And I just want to thank you for putting the work back in place. Citywide, we've been able to use it how it's supposed to be used for a couple months. We got out of Scott while we did the recruitment. And we have a new building official that started on Monday. So I believe Eric's going to try to bring him to either the next one of the next two council meetings to introduce. Scott provided 22 years of dedicated service to for the city and has been instrumental in guiding the city through significant growth and transformation. Scott joined the city in 2002. The population was around 13,000, so he's been on all the housing and commercial development here. So I'd like to thank Scott, wish him well in his retirement, and thank him for all his contributions to Sherwood. And then, as I said, we've new building officials started on Monday. Jared Bradbury and Eric will bring him back next council meeting. Sherwood Main Street's presenting Old Town Halloween October 31st from 3 to 6 p.m. Featuring trick-or-treating, activities, games, and fun. I do want to let you know we will not have a council meeting on November 5th, election night, but we will be holding a special work session as well as a council meeting on the 29th. And we'll have Metro here that night to talk about some...
Of October.
Of October. So that's all I have, unless you have any questions for myself or any department heads that are here.
It just never ceases to amaze me that the longevity of the employees that we have here at Sherwood, and that just goes to show it's a great place to work, and retirees they're coming. I mean, we've had people here between our police department and building officials, and that's a lot. I did notice, and I wanted to say thank you to you and your staff for getting the crossing signs back on Sunset on the new crosswalk. I noticed those the other day that they were back up in the middle of the road, and hopefully they'll stay there and not get damaged like they tend to get. But I think hearing from the parents and getting those back up really fast. I mean, I think within a week they were back up. So, and I know you're looking into other options and into that. So, we appreciate that. Anything else for Craig? Awesome. Council announcements.
A whole lot for me tonight. Did have a Parks Board meeting last week. The primary, I think, accomplishment there was they kind of reviewed and agreed to forward to us the final Murdoch Park concept plan. So we should be seeing that across our way here pretty soon. So that pretty much the last we saw. Not a whole lot of changes to it. That went back to the public. The public generally was aligned with what we and the Parks Board had both kind of aligned to before. So I think we're on a good track there. And then I think the discussion was really around funding, timeline. How do we extend the life of elements that are there, and then phasing, right? So I think they're very interested in how they can play a part in helping us with all of those things to get it there. And if it means we have to phase it, we have to phase it. But we talked about that in the CPI and where they put it on their priority list, from the Parks Board as we get into the next budget cycle as well. So that was a big accomplishment. I think there were some tree removals. Oh, also we got a good look at the connection from the senior center down to the Cedar Creek Trail, which is now open. I don't think it's officially open, but it's open. 95, substantially complete. Thank you. I love all these terms. Yeah, substantially complete. When is it completely complete? Completely. Mostly complete.
I believe they're supposed to, in the next couple of weeks, they're supposed to be making the repairs. So
okay.
Hopefully they'll be done.
But it's usable in the meantime. Yeah. So the trail's open, so people at the senior center can either walk down steps or a nice graded pathway down to the Cedar Creek Trail, which is amazing and awesome. There was a discussion around. There was pictures, and where the pathway goes through a fence, there's really some nasty, ugly barbed wire on top of the fence. Doesn't seem to serve any purpose if you have an open gap in the fence. So maybe we can look at removing that or something. So anyway, that's it.
Just to kind of piggyback on the Secret Trail, we recently Cedar Creek Trail.
I heard Secret Trail too.
No,
Secret Trail.
we've started doing an Adopt a Trail program here, similar to our Adopt a Road program. You can find details online on the website. There's a few segments open right now, and assuming that those go well, we'll open additional segments. Do you have anything else to say about this, Kristen? Okay.
Yeah, there's information on the website, and there's 4 segments altogether.
Okay.
Thanks for covering for me. I totally missed announcing that one.
I was
Sorry,
thinking
I'm excited
that,
about
and then
it.
I thought he'd jump.
Although I will take credit, because originally there was only going to be one segment, and I'm the one who suggested adding more segments at the park program. So
That's good.
Got that one out.
Planning Commission did not meet last week, and I forgot to mention when they did meet previously to approve the next portion of the Tonkin Employment Area. They discussed tree code. They would like that to be brought up with the City Council as a priority, especially the tree canopy coverage, what our ratios are right now relative to what adjacent cities are, as well as sightline code. We have code that kind of protects against like what it looks like from an adjacent street, but things that are up on a hill, like what we just approved, you can see that from a quarter mile away, and there's no code to help enforce what that looks like from that distance. And so potentially looking at something that involves that, so that we can be ready for Sherwood West if that happens. There's many hills over there and what that would look like. And then I just wanted to say that I saw the signs back up at Archer Glen, and traffic seems to be going much better, at least this last 2 weeks that I've been driving on that. So it was great to see that. Thank you for getting those back up. And that's all I have.
2 things there. On regards to the signs and the traffic flow, I think it's a testament to our city staff, both Public Works and police, that when citizens come forth and bring an issue, we are on it. Like, there's so many cities that don't have that, right? You send something in and it feels like it went into an endless file somewhere or to the bottom of some queue that nobody ever gets to. You never even hear a response, right? It's kudos to staff, and that goes to both of you, Ty and Craig, and all your people, that how quickly we respond when people bring stuff forth. And then I think maybe we need to have a joint work session with Planning Commission. It's been a while, and there's a lot of issues that maybe we need to discuss jointly.
Oh, Planning
Planning
Commission? Oh, okay, I think that one is in the works for traffic safety for
that too.
for the
Yeah.
safety of schools,
Sorry.
yeah.
I meant following up on this other stuff, because it seems like they've brought forward several things they want to discuss with us. So
Okay.
maybe we should have a joint session.
Okay. Ready?
I attended the Water Consortium meeting, and although I don't watch much TV and I did not see the ads and such as they came out, but the amount of money and investment that the consortium puts into being water conservationists, I think that's the right word, is pretty interesting. The campaign is TV, radio, social media, and a whole bunch of other ways that they're really getting the word out. And it's very, very impressive. So if you haven't seen that, I'd encourage you to go to the Water Consortium page and see some of what they've put together. Newburgh has left the consortium, and so we talked about how they're going to fund that gap, and that's going to be using contingency. There was a bylaw review talking about budget for 25-26. But what I found fascinating, at the end of the meeting, there were 4 cities that were highlighted for being eco-friendly. And one of them was our neighbors, Tualatin, and they have a really interesting project that has to do with turbines. It'd be interesting to see how they receive the money that's going to offset some of the cost of energy through this turbine project. So something for us maybe to consider to look into. I will be attending the Police Advisory Board on Thursday for Kim. Those of you who are interested in wine, we are the gateway to wine country. There is a wine festival and artisan fair coming up on November 2nd. It is the fundraiser for the Sherwood Rotary. It will be held at the Red Berry Barn. We'll have artisans, wine, food carts, 2 food carts. So come join us. And then last but not least, it's not too early to talk about this, but I've been doing some consulting with Musa Martial Arts, and there is going to be a team of Korean Taekwondo students that are world-class Taekwondo martial artists that are coming to Sherwood to do some exhibitions and to share their craft, their martial art. And so it's a nice way to really open up the doors to our community and to share some diversity and some culture. So that will be the week of the 20th and 27th of January. So look for more information to come. That's all I have.
All right. The first meeting was I actually have it tomorrow, the Library Advisory Board, but I don't think I reported on the last one. So they are discussing with the Sherwood Library Foundation, which is called SHELF, and they are discussing for their first major purchase and project is getting a pod that about 4 people could sit in that would be a quiet room that would allow them to have a little meeting space. A lot of other libraries in the area have that, and that would be one that if you're interested in your company name going up on that, reach out to Shelf, because that'll be done in partnership with the donations to that organization. Additionally, a couple of stats that people might find interesting up until this point in the year. The library has presented 419 programs, which is up 18% from last year. But more important than that, there's a 42% increase in program participation. So people are really taking advantage of the library more and the programs that we offer, and I think it's fantastic. Went to the school board meeting on Monday. Great highlights from the student leaders. They talked about the football team doing well and the soccer teams are doing well. He didn't mention the cross-country team, but they're also doing really well. I know because I will go watch those. But they did have such a successful blood drive last year that this year the Red Cross allowed them to use more facilities and more people, and they were able to get 76 pints of blood that equates to about 228 lives that are altered. So, and they're going to, in fact, do another one in December and another one in February because they had such good response. They also said that the clubs and activities for student participation was significantly increased, which I'm very glad to see because they've really tried to make an outreach to some of the students that feel isolated or alone or different things like that, and they've been able to find groups for these kids to belong to. As I mentioned in the work session, the only concerning thing that they did talk about is the decrease in total student enrollment by about 60 students. And so as a city, we need to address that by providing affordable housing for young families to be able to move in so that we get more kindergartners and we can hold on to them longer throughout the day or throughout their career. And I'd be in trouble at home if I didn't announce this. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief is a musical that the high school is putting on. My daughter Alice is Percy Jackson, so that's why I'd be in trouble. But this is another great thing I love about Sherwood. So they are making special performances so that all the 4th graders in Sherwood can go to the high school and see a real professional performance with, professional theater and all these things to just get them kind of excited to participate in the arts and participate in theater and stuff like that. And so it will be the 2nd and 3rd weeks of November, and tickets go on sale tomorrow.
That's exciting.
That's it for me.
Thanks, Taylor. I don't have much to report on. Unfortunately, last week I was sick for every meeting I was supposed to attend to. I got stuck with COVID, unfortunately. So, but last night I was had the pleasure of hosting a Boy Scout troop here in the council chambers. A group of 4th grade boys, 7 of them. So we let them sit at the dais, and I had invited the mayor to come because I thought the boys would think that was pretty cool to see the mayor. And so he came and talked a little bit, but they were learning about elections. So we gave them a little lesson on how elections and local, we let them sort of run a meeting, kind of like more of a planning commission meeting, but they came up with 2 topics. One of them was having a Great Wolf Lodge in the city of Sherwood. So one of the boys' crew was the mayor for the day, and he had everybody give their input, and then they deliberated, and then they took a vote. And they wanted to do another scenario, and crew came up with the idea, he wants to build a 3rd story to the library. And so each boy gave reasons why or why not, what would be good about that, and they deliberated and voted all in favor of a 3rd story on the library. So they got a little taste of how council meetings run, and It was really, really neat. And thanks to Sylvia for helping get some little swags by reaching out to other departments and putting a little bit of swag bag for the kids together. Then on November 11th, we'll be having a Veterans Day brunch over at the Art Center from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It's free. All are welcome. I think I saw something about requesting, letting us know if you can come or not, probably so we can have a head count. I saw something about some jazz music. Mayor sorry, Tim. Mayor Rosner will be speaking. I think I saw that there too. So, also Mayor Rosner and Councilor Mays aren't here this evening because they're down at Legal Oregon City's conference in Bend. Mayor Rosner sits on the board for the league, and I think Taylor, you heading down tomorrow? I'm heading down, and then Craig and Kristen will be down. And this is a conference that all the elected officials, city managers from all over the state are invited to come to, hundreds of people. And it's really just a great opportunity for us to network with other elected officials and see what's going on in their cities. A lot of times you find similar situations, even in smaller cities, larger cities, and bounce ideas off each other. So it's a really great networking event. And with that, unless anybody else has anything else.
Do you want to go first?
So I forgot to mention, and can I get the chief to talk about an event that the police department's
Oh,
gonna be
yes,
doing?
do talk about
That's
that
what I was going
event.
to talk about.
Was that what you were going to say? Okay. Tell us about your event.
Are you participating?
I will be there. Yes.
I'd love for you to share.
So this year we are kicking off an event, and it's called Hide and Seek with a Cop. So this is going to take place at Stella Olson on October 30th, so that the kids can still go trick or treat on Halloween. It begins at 7 p.m. and you'll need to pre-register at 6. So there's going to be boundaries and rules and all sorts of things in place. But the goal is for these participants to get from one end to the other, exchange a wristband, and then get back without us tagging them. So 12. Yes, you got to be 12 or older. Adults can participate. We can be bought off with donuts. This is just going to be a great opportunity to get out and do something different and fun and unique. So if you know of anybody and people that haven't heard about it yet, because we just posted it, and I know we have a meeting before that, but I wanted to get it out there ahead of time as much as we can. If you give me a second, I think you got to go somewhere to register. Oh, yeah, it's on, I guess he's posted on the Facebook page. So if you go to our Facebook page, you can go to the link there to register. But again, on the 30th, did I say 6? No, I said 7 to 9.
7 to 9,
Pre-register
registration at 6.
Yep. So I just want to make sure we got that out there.
Awesome. Was that what you
That is what I was going to say. The only thing I'd add is that this is a chance to run from the cops without consequences. So that's how it's being marketed.
Good job.
I was going to say, as a 50-year-old, let's make sure we sign those medical waivers for pulled muscles and diving on the ground. That feels
waivers to sign.
okay.
Awesome.
Feels like an injury.
All right. With that, we will adjourn this meeting. And we're going to head it straight into but we're just going to go straight into a Urban Renewal Agency meeting.
So
A very quick.
oftentimes city councilors are on multiple different committees or teams, and so this is, now we're not city council, we're now this Urban Renewal Agency, even though we're all the same people.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your input on the food carts.
You'll be there.
All right, I'm going to call to order the URA board meeting. Roll call, Sylvia, if you're ready.
Vice Chair Young?
Here.
Member Browse?
Here.
Member Scott?
Here.
Member Giles?
Here.
Member Stankey?
Here.
And Chair Rosner and Member Mays are absent.
Awesome. We can I get approval of the consent agenda after I read the consent agenda? We have 3 items. Approval of July 16th, 2024 URA board meeting minutes. Approval of August 20th, 2024 URA board meeting minutes. And URA Resolution 2024-005, authorizing the URA agency administrator to accept donation of a .51 acre property located in the Tonquin employment area.
I move consent.
Second?
All in favor of approving consent?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Okay, motion carries. Sylvia, do we have any citizen comments?
I do not know.
Okay, with that, I will call this meeting over, and we're adjourned. Okay, we're going to adjourn to an executive session.